Da-da, da-da, do.
Off-season football.
Da-da, do.
It is the NFL draft.
3 guys and a Rob changed up the beginning, and that's okay because it's more do. Football time. Burp.
Woo.
Burp. Woo. Woo.
Yeah, every like maybe once a year, it gets lyrics.
That's and it's
that's it.
Really just for the off season.
Exactly. Yeah,
that's a special time.
Let's not get crazy during the season. There's way too many serious games to be taken.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what's up? It's the pre-draft show. The draft's gonna be happening Thursday night. So we'll be live streaming the ESPN draft ticker thing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Coach hasn't released this until Friday, so hope everyone's draft has gone well. Hopefully you remembered that we streamed yesterday.
Yeah, if you missed it, it was great.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a fun time. So we usually only do round 1. The other rounds are kind of like whatever.
Yeah, we don't care after that.
Yeah, at that point, it's just, I mean, second and third rounds are still fun, but the first round is like it's the something special round,
Yeah.
So it should be good. Also, moment of silence for our man Gilbert Gottfried.
Oh yeah.
That is, we waited too long, man.
We procrastinated. We procrastinated, and now that man is left. Yeah.
Yep. So
what's left is my horrible impersonation of him.
That's all we got, and
that's all we got.
I guess that's all we really had, honestly, in the grand scheme of things. But
we could get an impersonator on Fiverr, maybe. But
I don't know. The same. It's not. The same.
You wouldn't have to pay me though, because I don't get paid to do this anyway.
That's true.
Would it? What like? What's the protocol there? If you're a Gilbert Gottfried, impression guy.
I don't know.
Like how long? What's the grace period for you to go back to work?
Probably not very long, because
I would think so.
You could probably
it's a rather specialized role.
That's true. I don't know how many there are. I guess it would be like an honor of him. You could like start doing stuff, but like at the same.
Okay, yeah.
I think the bigger issue is if it's somebody like Frank Caliendo or whatever. It's like a John Gruden impersonation. It's like I don't know if I want to do John Gruden impersonation.
Yeah,
anymore.
no, that's fair. Yeah.
But rip to a legend.
Yeah.
We didn't get him on the show. Well, he wasn't going to come on the show, but we didn't get his voice lines on the show.
Well, we were planning on having him on the show, but unfortunately, this didn't work out. So, rip Gilbert.
We were just a little too busy, and, he was like, please,
yeah,
let's hang out, busy. Guys. And,
we tried working with his people. We couldn't work it out. It's what it is.
He was doing like 100 cameos a day or something crazy like that.
Wow, that's wild.
That is crazy, actually.
I'm pulling that number out of my ass. I don't actually know.
Oh yeah.
He does. I know that he was one of the more popular cameo artists.
Yeah, I think he was.
He's very. Yeah, no, it would have been a good idea.
We need to stop cursing people. Is what we need to do on the show.
Yeah, he was young as hell. How did we do that?
He was only like 67, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Who else did we curse?
Gruden.
Did we?
I don't know. He kind of did all that before we even had a show, and then if anything, the Washington football team got cursed by us.
Washington football team.
They didn't listen to us. Yeah. We cursed them because they didn't listen. If they would have just been the Hogs, we'd be all right.
Yeah,
none of this would have happened.
Now they're the Commanders.
Uninspired name change, just horrible.
Yeah, and now they might actually get what's his name out of there because he screwed over the owners.
Yep.
So.
Looking at the top 20 picks in the draft is like it's just a who's who of like who's at the bottom of the power rankings every single week.
Oh yeah.
There's very little movers and shakers. I'd say probably the Falcons and the Panthers are the only standouts as having the significant top picks. I'm not just saying that because they're in the NFC South. Jets. I mean, Rob, how you feeling? How you feeling about these fourth and fifth pick?
You know, the Jets unsuccessfully tried to secure at least so far, a free agent wide receiver that's like, big time to come to the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
There have been a couple of, I mean, this has been just a completely wild offseason. I feel I don't know what the stats are on it, but like there's got to be more trade and like players moving than average. I would feel
it was like an NBA offseason with the amount of stuff happening. Oh,
yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
Deebo Samuel. I almost forgot. We should talk about that a bit. Deebo Samuel requests a trade from the 49ers, and he does not even want to listen to their contract negotiations.
Yeah.
So
he's out.
Someone laid a turd in his punch bowl because he is not happy over there.
I think the big thing with him is that they were treating him as like a running back wide receiver. And so he's like, if I'm going to be doing all this stuff, I want to get paid like I'm doing all this stuff. But
which
is fair because also if you're playing him at running back, like running backs get worn down and the dude's not like built like a running back. Like he's just kind of a hybrid player. So you're literally just like beating him up back there. So he's like, yo, I don't want to do this if like you're not going to pay me like it, or maybe he just doesn't even want to. So like I get why he's doing that. And then I guess the 49ers just don't want to listen, or they're like, whatever. I don't know. It's pretty crazy. And he's still on his rookie deal, which is the other thing.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's close to the time where he could get an extension, and so they could extend him on the lower pay scale, and then he would have 2 years potentially of franchise tagging too.
Mm-hmm.
So. And if he's being utilized with as many snaps as he was, then I mean he's trying to get a contract. And I think, like we were saying, this free agency has been wild, and wide receivers have been one of the biggest things that have been moving around.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been getting just wild, like increasingly escalating deals in value. So Deebo's like, I want to get paid $25 million, and he thinks he probably can. And honestly, like if they get a trade partner, which could be the Jets, for the 10th pick, that's the rumor anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Then
I mean, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just gonna say he's part of the growing list of trends of the league being increasingly more and more wide receiver friendly. This is a passing league. It's been evolving like that for the last, I would say, probably 10 years now.
Not even just passing, but like he does everything.
Deebo does both. That's the thing, is that he does both. So like he could, I think, very easily get the money that he's looking for.
Absolutely. I think like if he was traded to the Jets, they would easily pay him the $25 million that he wants.
Oh, yeah.
And I as a fan would be like, yes, dope, do that. That sounds good. Why not?
That dude carried their offense last year. Like literally, he put the 49ers on his back and was like, here we go.
Yeah, I mean, even if he has just the one great year and like, a couple other kind of down years due to injury, like it doesn't matter. Like the Jets have a lot of money. We need a guy who's like, he can catch footballs. You know what I mean?
Yes,
like we can throw it to him and he'll catch it. Yeah, exactly.
Anybody can catch a football, please.
The Bucks need a wide receiver as well, and I think that he would. I would absolutely love it if he went to the Bucks.
Well, but the Packers need a wide receiver as well, so I'd absolutely love if he went to the Packers.
You guys here's the thing. You guys would have to. You would have to wrap up a lot of picks. The Jets. They're going to be trying to get away with like the 10 and maybe like a late round pick, because the 10 is very valuable. And to be honest, like it's either like draft a guy and hope he's as good as Deebo Samuel, or get Deebo Samuel with the 10. So like as a fan, I'm just like, yeah, sure. Yeah.
I mean,
that sounds
the Packers traded Adams for a first and a second. And I mean, the Jets could easily just do a first and a second, and they're like better picks than what the Raiders had.
See, but that's why I wouldn't be super happy if they also gave up a second, because the Jets are still pretty bad.
Well, then just give up both your first draft picks then.
No, absolutely not.
I mean,
4th and the 10th for Debo? No. And then pay him to the $25 million as well?
Yeah, no. That's a New York Jets football squad deal right there.
Honestly,
go on.
If I was the Jets, I would give up a first, like the 10th pick and like the second, like a second rounder. They're like 35, 38. Like I would do that for Debo Samuel. Like that dude is going to change your offense.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like he's probably worth it, but then also paying him the extremely high contract. Look, the Jets have done things like this in the past and stuff like if you do something like that, it usually doesn't work out for us for whatever reason. But no, I mean the thing is the Jets have a lot of holes and they actually do need those picks on players. Like honestly, and Joe Douglas, he seems pretty stingy in the trades, which is why partially they haven't done too much movement. So I don't think he would give up more than the 10. The 10 is very, very like that's a big that's a big pick.
Yeah.
And giving up a second too, especially because we have high seconds. So
yeah,
you know,
they're essentially late round first.
Exactly. So the Jets would really rather keep those. I mean, they probably go with like the 10 and maybe like a 4th or a 5th or a 6th or something.
Yeah.
You know,
who would have thought the way that the offseason ended for the Niners that we'd be talking about a realistic scenario, not trolling at all, where the Niners keep Jimmy G and lose Debo.
Yeah, that is funny. Like it has been insane. And I mean, all this got set up with wide receivers and everything, even the Adams trade, like all this stuff, because Christian Kirk went to the Jaguars and they gave him like $70 million or something.
Yeah.
Because they're the Jaguar. No, $84 million.
Mm-hmm.
Like they gave him like star receiver money, and I'm like, I mean, he's good, but like, I don't know if he's worth that much. But they like have so much money that they're like, we're the Jaguars, we got nothing.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's the thing, right? Like with teams like the Jets and the Jaguars, this has been the kind of like financial strategy for teams for a little while, which is like, eat a bunch of dead money for years if you're rebuilding, and then you'll have like a lot of cap space. So then just overpay on some guys who are actually really good because they otherwise wouldn't want to go there.
Yeah.
And then hopefully it works out. But then the most of the guaranteed money is in the front. So they can cut the player later on, which is why a lot of players try to go for more guaranteed money, obviously.
Yeah. No, that does make sense. But
yeah.
Also, big signing in Packerland. Forgot this one. Sammy Watkins.
Oh, yeah.
1-year deal. I actually called this. I was like, Packers are going to sign some veteran guy like Watkins to a 1-year prove-it deal, and they did. 1 year, $4 million. I'm fine with this. He probably will get injured and not play like half the games, but it's still better than nothing. So that's neat.
Yeah. And he's good.
Yeah, he's good.
He's good. Yeah.
Apparently he balls out week 1, according to everybody. It's like his big thing, which is great because we like shit the bed last year week 1, so it might balance out.
There you go.
So I'm pretty excited.
Yeah. And that was a quite hilarious time in those days.
Yeah. And the other big news story, Kyler Murray's been holding out.
Yeah.
So that's been crazy. Like people thought Kyler Murray was going to get traded at some point, or they might still think he's going to get traded.
That still feels like it came out of left field because he was, I mean, before he got injured, he was carrying the entire team.
Yeah.
As he always does. But
well, they collapsed at the end of the season again.
Well, yeah, but again, his injury really screwed up his momentum and it killed all the progress that he was making.
Yeah.
Because he was making strides to be like the guy for anyone in that division. I mean, Arizona they were stomping on people, and then it just came down. It just collapsed around him. Then when he finally did come back, it was like, Kyler.
Well, there was a point. Remember last year they were like undefeated, and it was like Packers Cardinals, and then they lost that game, and that's when he got hurt, and like it was never the same since then.
I mean, that's just exactly what I just got done saying. But
Yeah, but
thanks for rephrasing it for everyone.
I wanted to re-emphasize your amazing point. Okay. But like I just typed in his name. There's like NFL analysts think Kyler Murray's going to get traded before season starts. Kyler Murray going to the Texans. Kyler Murray, what's next? His contract. The Cardinals apparently picked up his 5th-year option, which obviously they're going to do that.
Maybe that's where this stems from. Maybe he wanted like an actual extension from them.
Yeah,
and they're like, nah.
But yeah, apparently a lot of people are saying he's going to get traded to the Texans. Like. Which
that would be
insane.
Pretty wild. Yeah,
it's just.
I mean,
I
look, if he, I don't know what the details are behind the scenes with him, but I mean, if it's a matter of like he didn't want to play another year on the rookie deal, and he just wanted them to give him a formal extension, because I mean that. Teams have done that. I think that happened for Pat Mahomes.
It happened for Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, like they're just like, okay, no, you're good. We believe in you. Here's a contract that we want to extend you, and we want you to play here. And maybe it stems from that. I don't know. I literally, I'm pulling this completely out of my ass. Like this is
Yeah.
I have no idea. I'm just this is what I would think maybe. And then that would be pretty fair. I mean, the thing is with football players, their careers don't last very long. So
yeah,
and teams have no qualms about cutting them at any time. So
yeah,
I don't know if it's the difference between
Tom
you and
Brady,
right?
Well,
Yeah,
Tom Brady's like an outlier. Like,
yeah,
that dude is a
significant
robot.
outlier. Yeah.
So it's I think Pat Mahomes with his case though, he did win the Super Bowl, or like they just
True.
went to the play. It was already like, all right, this dude is insane. But with like Kyler Murray, it's like he's good and like he's really good, but he keeps kind of disappearing towards the end of the season. And so like I'm like, do I want to pay this guy? Like maybe he is going to take the next step, but if he doesn't, then you pay him, and then he's like, get me out of here. Like I don't know. It is
and you see a scenario where Arizona drafts like his replacement.
It's possible. I mean, if they want to go that route, I mean, they already with Kyler Murray, it's kind of like you saw how they drafted Kyler Murray and just like kicked Josh Rosen to the curb.
Yeah.
It's not like Kyler Murray should have any kind of feelings like the Cardinals are not going to do that to him at some point, right? So I mean,
yeah.
Might as well, right? Might as well go force a trade, get a contract right now.
What year was that draft? Was that 2020? Or was that
2020?
It was whatever the Darnold draft was, because that was the same.
Oh, it was
Darnold
2019.
2019.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
I was like last year, right?
Yeah.
Man, that is.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, because he chose to play football over baseball because he was going to go play like professional baseball.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was a whole big drama and stuff.
Yeah.
Rosen was drafted in 2018, and then Kyler came out and just booted him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think. Oh right, well yeah, Kyler was the year after, but the I think also like isn't his dad like very public with the media, and as his agent, because I think his dad or something is his agent too. And his dad's kind of abrasive in the media. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, whatever. The thing is, like, if he wants to get, yeah, Kyler's, yeah,
Okay,
yeah, but I don't know. From my perspective, is like, if it's about him trying to get like a secure deal with guaranteed money right now, then yeah, I mean that makes sense.
Yeah,
if he can do that, then do it, I suppose.
I could see him going to the Texans.
I can see that. Yeah.
I could see that too.
Do they have the money? I know they got a lot of dead cap right now, right?
The Texans, please hold.
Well, I wonder if they traded him there, they'd keep him on the rookie deal and then be one of those things like, yo, after the season, we're going to pay you a shit ton of money or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like maybe he wouldn't want that, but I don't know. But yeah, that could be how it works.
Yeah.
Prior to Deshaun Watson, they had 17.3 million in cap space.
Oh, yeah, and they're probably still paying Deshaun Watson a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah. The supposedly they're gonna have 40 million to play with if Watson after the Watson trade.
That's pretty good, honestly.
Yeah, but I mean, then also there's some amount for whatever their draft picks are.
Yeah.
They're taking it cleared up 24.2 million in cap space. So yeah, so that's about 41 million. So they could pay Kyler. I mean, it's just a matter of, you know, do they think that he's worth that much? Or I mean, the Texans have the 3rd overall pick, and then they've got 13th, and then they're done for the first round. And their second round, I think they have a pretty no, they do have the 5th pick in the second round. Okay. I forgot that they had that, because if you look past that, they've got nothing. The Texans have nothing after that for a very long time.
Their team's got fucked up.
Yeah, they've got 2 3rd round picks, and then, you know, from there it doesn't really. I don't really care after that. But they got back-to-back 4th round picks, the 2nd and 3rd.
No, it says they got says they have 2/3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember when I just got done saying how they have 2 in the 3rd round?
Oh, well, yeah, you made it sound like they don't have any picks. They got 2 firsts, a 2nd, 2/3, 2/4, a 5th, and a 2/6. That's a lot of picks.
That is a lot of picks, actually.
I was saying they had nothing after the 5th one, the 5th overall in the 2nd round.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, let's get more.
I mean, 13's high. I mean, that would be a good trade for Kyler, I think.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I feel like he'll end up just playing with the Cardinals anyway. Like, they'll be nothing. But
yeah, we'll see.
Maybe not. We'll see. It probably all depends what happens at the draft.
Draft.
The NFL draft. So, this NFL draft is a little wild from what I've looked at. Like, normally in the past couple of years, it's always like quarterback. Like, even if the quarterback is like not great, they're like, hey, he might be good. Yeah. So they like take a shot. But this year, it's like everything I see is like Trayvon Walker and Aiden Hutchinson, who are 2 edge rushers going at the top.
Yep. And honestly, that even might be smoke screens, because there have been other guys who were at the top before, like pro days and combines, and that might be a sneaky thing that happens. Like, I've even heard rumors that the Jaguars might take it. I'm not gonna know how to say his name, I'll, even if I have it in front of me.
Kayvon Thibodeau?
No, not Thibodeau. His name's it's like
Ikem.
Yeah, I think they call him Icky. The Icky is his nickname.
I like that.
I think. Imagine having a nickname, Icky.
That's pretty fun, actually. Icky. Yeah, that's a cool one.
Yeah, I saw some dude mocked him going number 1. Yeah, so like, I think this is gonna be fun because like nobody knows who's taking what and like this. Because there's also Ahmad Gardner, who's apparently called Sauce Gardner.
Yep,
Sauce.
That's the Jets have been rumored around him a little bit if he's there. But you know, we'll see.
Yeah. I know the other big thing this draft is wide receivers, because apparently the wide receiver depth is wild. So like for wide receivers,
you're gonna say wide receiver depth is wide. I'm like, yeah, there you go, coach.
This is
Coach
wide receiver depth.
Goggles today.
Garrett Wilson out of Ohio State, Drake London, USC. We got Jameson Williams out of Alabama, who was going to be like probably a top 5, top 10 player, but he tore his ACL in the championship rounds or whatever. So he's probably going to go like late first. There's Chris Olave, Treylon Burks, Jahan Dotson, Kyler Gore. Like, there's wide receiver depth goes into the 2nd round. This is a really big wide receiver draft, which is great for the Packers. I'm loving
also the Jets.
Yeah, also the Jets. And I guess the Chiefs at this point.
Yeah, probably. There's probably a lot of teams that are going to take wide receivers.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Bucks need, like, we need to get a wide receiver, but it's not in our top though. Like, we really need an inside linebacker, and more importantly, a freaking safety, please. For the love of God, give us safety.
Maybe you'll have a Jets draft where we draft the safety in the first round and safety in the second round.
In fact,
I mean,
all right.
whatever works for us, as long as we get a damn safety.
Let's kick it off. Let's go through each of our teams and do a little like, what do you think your team needs and what would you draft? Starting with Rob because he's got like 800 picks.
Well, yeah, I mean, the Jets have a lot of picks, as you mentioned. There's the 4th overall pick and then the 10th overall pick, which we got from Seattle for Jamal Adams, which is just, oh man, it is wonderful, to be honest with you. Like, that was such a great trade by Joe Douglas. I mean, oh my goodness. 2 firsts for Jamal Adams. It was just amazing. So,
and like a top 10 first, like literally 10.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's incredible. It was really, really good. And the second picks too, because I mean, we have 2 seconds as well.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, that's sweet. There's a lot of holes on the Jets. Still, it seems like our offensive line actually might be pretty good next year, which is actually a really good thing. I'm happy about that. Like they're already potentially a pretty good unit. Because like last year, towards the end of the season, they were actually playing average to above average. So, you know,
they were
that
banged
would be
up at the start, right?
Yeah, there was a bunch of issues that happened at the start, and Mekhi Becton ended up being out for the whole year.
Oh yeah.
He might not even be back at the start of next season. We're not sure. So, but we ended up finding a really, really good left tackle who did well replacing him. So I don't know. The offensive line's pretty good. We need defense. Amazingly, I hate saying that, but we actually do need like a pass rusher and a corner. But they're not like we also need a lot of help at on offense too, mostly in like the playmaker category. So I don't know. There's a lot of mock drafts that say that we could be taking Thibodeau as an edge rusher at the 4, but that's if he's gonna be there. That I before the combine and stuff, he was being mocked as like the 1st overall pick.
Yeah.
So he might not be there at 4. So I don't know. Maybe we'll end up getting one of the other edge guys. I don't think that the Jets are going to actually get Sauce Gardner, because I don't think we need a corner that badly.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Probably edge or defense would be the first pick, and I wouldn't be against it. As much as I hate seeing the Jets take the Jets take defense. I'm traumatized from many years of the Jets doing that. And
I wouldn't be against it.
But it would be nice to have an edge rusher. But then also at the 10th pick, we're probably just going to take a wide receiver anyway. Like a lot of mock drafts have us taking a wide receiver. The one I'm looking at Tankathon right now has us taking Drake London. I haven't looked very closely at wide receivers just because I don't really know anything about them, to be totally honest with you. Like I wouldn't be able to judge them accurately. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna take a wide receiver at 10. That's why the Jets were trying to trade that 10th pick for like a really good wide receiver, and they still are, I guess. But because we're just gonna take a wide receiver anyway with it, so you know that might end up being what we do, and that would be also pretty good. And then in the second round, I don't know. We have, again, like I said, we need a corner. We could use more help on the offensive line because we're kind of just like one guy short a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I think maybe it's Connor McGovern, or I don't know. One of the guys is like an older veteran guy, so he's not going to stick around for very long. So we need to draft a replacement essentially. So, something like that. But that's essentially like those are our main needs. I mean, it would be nice. I mean, maybe to get a tight end, maybe another running back. But I like the running back that we got last year, and he'll probably be better this year.
Oh yeah, what's his name?
Michael Carter.
Yeah,
yeah, because we also have the Michael Carter cornerback as well.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But yeah, no, and he did well last year. I don't think he's not like an every down back kind of guy. So I mean, maybe we get another running back later on, but I would see that happening like in the 3rd or 4th round or something.
Yeah. How's your linebackers?
Well, that was one of the only places that they addressed through free agency.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so we picked up I forget honestly because it's not a huge it's not like a huge name. Also, there's not that many huge name linebackers anymore unless they're edge rushers. But yeah, I mean, we picked up we tried to improve our linebacker core. It's kind of weird because we have CJ Mosley around, who was really good on the Ravens and was honestly pretty good with us too last year, but it's kind of the first time that he's played in like 2 years. He just kind of sat out on his deal for the entire Adam Gase era, and then Robert Saleh was hired, and he was like, you know what? I think I'll play again. And
the dark days of the Jets.
Yeah. So he had it pretty good. So yeah, but theoretically, if he plays even more like he played on the Ravens, then he would be a really good middle linebacker. And I don't know, I think our linebacking core is pretty decent.
Looks like he signed Solomon Thomas.
Right, that's right. Yeah. Oh, yeah, and that's another thing is one of the free agents that we picked up last year, Carl Lawson, was injured the whole season. He didn't play a snap.
Oh.
But he's back this year, so that'll be an improvement on our D line as well. Especially if paired with a draft pick. So, that's another thing. So our defense should maybe see some improvement next year, especially with more draft picks in that direction.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like they're going in the right direction.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing for just any Jets. just really the Jets.
Look, it's hard to tell while it's happening, but Joe Douglas, so far as a GM, I've at least, I think trades are his strength. Like he doesn't pull the trigger on a trade unless he's like fleecing the other team.
Mm-hmm.
And that's worked out pretty well for us so far. So I'm pretty psyched about it. It remains to be seen his draft picks, how they'll all pan out and stuff and all this. But I don't know. We'll see. Maybe they can actually take a step next year.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm marking it on my calendar right now. 4:54 p.m. On Tuesday, April 26th. Rob was hopeful for the Jets pre-draft.
We'll see what it is.
Let's see where we go in 3 days.
Probably about week 1 as tradition, but we'll see.
And Mark.
I was looking at the Jets free agent trackers. Their first big one was the lineman Laken Tomlinson.
Right, yeah.
Who's very good. Then Braxton Barrios they brought back.
Yep.
Who actually had some good games.
Yeah, no, he's the thing with him is he's a great special teams guy, and he's really good on like gadget plays, and he's pretty decent in the passing game. Like he's not like amazing, but he's got good hands. Like he's a possession kind of receiver. Yeah. So
I remember he had a good fantasy week, so I was like, this guy's doing something right.
Yeah, he was our most successful wide receiver last year, and him and Zach Wilson are really tight. So
looks like they brought in CJ Uzoma, who's on the Bengals, tight end.
Yep. And another tight end too.
Who's that? Tyler Conklin?
Yep.
Oh yeah, there you go, Tyler Conklin.
Which is really, really important for Mike LaFleur's system. And it was actually very frustrating last year because it utilized like heavy tight end packages, but our tight ends were garbage in the passing game. Like they were mostly blocking tight ends. But now we have pass catching ones, so you know.
Yeah, they got DJ Reed from the Seahawks, corner.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jordan Whitehead from the Bucks. I know Sinvicta loved the Bucks secondary, so he's probably going to be all praises for this one.
Oh, no, not Jordan. Please, don't take him.
Our secondary is pretty bad, too. So
probably the biggest signing, honestly, was bringing back the Joe Flacco.
Oh, yes, the Elite Dragon.
Joe Flacco.
Yep. So that's going to be
a
huge one.
Super Bowl MVP. Super Bowl Joe Flacco.
Elite level,
Elite
S-tier quarterback.
Yeah, you don't get many Super Bowl MVPs on your team. You got to bring them in while they're still available.
I mean, to be honest, like that's Joe Douglas learning from his mistake, because last year they didn't sign him in the offseason, and everyone was like, why didn't we should definitely have a veteran QB for the just to have around. I mean, even if he doesn't teach him.
Yeah. And then you got Mike White.
Yeah, we say and then they got him back anyway, so they got him in the offseason, so I'm happy.
Yeah. So Sinvicta, how about the Buccaneers?
How about them Buccaneers, coach?
Yep.
We indeed do have a football team need. Lots of the thing is that Gronk not re-signing with us is putting us in kind of a rough place, because there's a lot of depth at the tight end position for the draft this year. So depending on what Gronk does will determine whether or not we need a tight end. I mean, we still have Cameron Brate. Cameron Brate turned out to be a pretty big standout for a lot of people. He was doing great for most fantasy games as well, since OJ was not. OJ Howard kind of just disappeared. But the Bucs really, really, really need either. I know I said safety earlier, and that is true, but we're getting Tristan Wirfs back, which I'm pretty happy about. So that kind of negated our need for an O-line. But after his injury, I'm a little bit skeptical. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing them take a high second round O-line. I think the Bucs really do have a chance to trade back for a couple of mid-level round 2 picks. I'd be happy with that, because I mean we're picking in the 27th spot. If we end up picking there, I could see them going for like a standout guard. I mean, the one guy that not a lot of people have mentioned around the horn is Logan Hall from Houston. He's a freaking monster. 6'6", 283, absolute beast. I think that I honestly think that, like, with him, and Logan Hall, by the way, he's a DT. So like if we have to pick in the first round, getting a DT is probably fine. Because I mean, Sue is not. I don't remember how much Sue has left on his contract, and Vita Vea obviously he's got the injury problems now. So getting a D line in the first round is fine. But if we can trade back and go for a mid-level round 2 offensive line pick, I'd be fine with that. Safeties, cornerbacks, all that kind of good stuff is going to be needed. But if we end up needing a tight end, I could see them sticking with a second round tight end. Colorado State's Trey McBride. There's a lot of really good tight ends out there, but
I've heard he's like insane.
Yeah, if we could get like a Gronk replacement as our first pick, I wouldn't mind that either. So it really just comes down to what Gronk ends up doing, but I doubt he's going to make any moves beforehand. So
yeah. He might just be sitting out the camps. Like, he might just not be signing until he can just get back in.
Yeah. Apparently Gronk was working out with Derrick Henry, according to the reports. I don't know what that means.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind getting Trey McBride, because he kind of reminds me of like Kyle Pitts from last year. Who went to the Falcons.
Well, sadly, you're not going to be getting him, because I want the Packers to get him, so that won't happen.
No. You don't get to wish for anything. You're the anyway. Also, fun fact: the Buccaneers finalized the restructuring of Tom's contract. So he's starting with a base salary $1.13 million, which gives us a lot of dead cap next year. But if we win the championship, there's avoidable like 4 years spread across that or something. So the Bucs just needed to perform well, and Brady also is not. He put in the no franchise tag in there, so it sounds like he's willing to play after this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think he's back. I think he's
Yep.
him retiring briefly made him realize that he's like, no, I'm gonna go until they stop me from going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I do love that one of the Bucks prospects is a safety from Auburn. His name is Smoke Monday, and I just really
That's
just want him-
amazing. Holy
Yeah.
Smoke
shit.
Monday.
That's like
his
he's
name
like
is legally Smoke Monday.
that's like a noir detective story or something.
Yeah.
Like
That's amazing.
That's like when the Packers didn't take Cheese Man or whatever his name was. Like they should have just come on.
Yeah, I mean you gotta, right? I mean,
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah,
Other
but-
big free agent signings for the Buccaneers: Russell Gage from Atlanta, Fred Johnson, offensive lineman. I don't know where he was. Where's he from? The Bengals. Shaq Mason. Then Keanu Neal from the Cowboys, Logan Ryan, and Deadrin Senat. I think that's how you say it. He's from the Falcons.
Honestly, like I also, if the Bucks made a bold play and tried to trade up for the sauce, I also wouldn't hate that move as well.
Yeah, that would be good.
I've heard he's very good.
Gardner,
I haven't looked.
Yeah,
but-
he is an incredible cornerback.
I mean,
So-
how's the D line on the D line? You guys have a good D line, right?
I
Yeah,
think
but remember-
Sue's
but-
thing is up.
Yeah, he's done after he's. I don't remember if he's done. Let me see what his contract is left. He's got, I think, 1 year with the Bucks left.
I don't know how to spell it. Sue.
Yeah, he's got. I think he signed another year with the Buccaneers.
It says his status is up in the air. I guess he's like contemplating retiring, maybe. So
I mean, he's getting up there.
he's
for his
35. Yeah.
position. Yeah.
But either way, I don't hate the idea of us drafting if we end up staying with our 27th pick. Like I said, Logan Hall for the D line is fine. I'd love to trade up for the Sauce to get him. Like they're talking about Sauce Gardner being like the highest drafted cornerback ever.
Mhm.
So,
Which would be wild. I mean,
yeah. But-
we here at the Jets had Darrell Revis. I'll let you know. And
excuse me, the Bucks also had Darrell Revis there.
look, a lot of people had Darrell Revis. All right, the Jets had the main Darrell Revis, the first Darrell Revis.
So to wrap it up, I wouldn't mind getting Logan Hall or someone from the D line would be fine. If we trade up for either Sauce Gardner or Trey McBride, I wouldn't mind that either because we definitely need a tight end. But there's at the same time, there's a lot of tight ends that are available. So if we don't get them, then fine, coach can be happy. So I'm looking forward to having 0 picks in the first round, basically, if it happens. Because then I won't even have to be on the stream. I can just
Well, you have to see because they picked 27th. So
I know. Well, that's what I'm saying. If they trade back, then hey, whatever. But if they trade up, then your boy's gonna be happy.
Yep. So that's Buccaneers. Let me give you some Packer knowledge. All right.
Packer knowledge.
Knowledge. So after the Adams trade, we got 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and a third, which is fantastic.
Yeah, it's really good for a team that went to the playoffs.
Yeah, and honestly, like we're still pretty good. You know, like still got Rodgers, even though he's crazy, but like dude can be a quarterback very well. We still have an amazing running back duo with Jones and Dillon back there, so we're set in the backfield. We even have I forgot his name. We drafted him last year. He looked really promising, like speedy guy, and then he got hurt, so he's gonna be the 3rd string. So running back's like fully set. Then offensive line, we probably need 1 offensive lineman, probably a tackle. So we'll probably draft like a right tackle, and then knowing the Packers, we'll draft like some guard in the 5th round that becomes a Pro Bowler. That's kind of just what happens. I don't know how they do it. They literally just like 3rd to 5th round, the Packers are like, we're gonna draft some like random guy, and then he's like a Pro Bowler 2 years later, and then they go somewhere else, and then we draft another one, and it's like, hey, he's Pro Bowler again.
Yeah,
I don't know how they do it, but
some teams, man, some
yeah,
teams.
that's their specialty. Packers just produce offensive linemen and then suck at everything else. Well, I guess quarterback's pretty good too. But for the first time I think ever, the defense is like good, which is all we need. Like I hit the mic. We got the secondary set. We drafted Eric Stokes last year, who was like, I remember being like, what? But he actually turned out to be amazing and filled in as the one as a rookie. So getting him with Alexander is going to be an awesome secondary. And we still got Savage, who's pretty solid. We got Amos, who's pretty solid. We brought back Rasul Douglas to play the nickel.
Douglas.
Rasul Douglas.
Show him how to dug.
I hope there's a person named Douglas out there.
Dude, I would love to have a Douglas on the team.
Big Douglas.
Big Douglas. That would be like the best, like a nose tackle. Dude's like 350. It's me.
Amazing.
Like they do the thing where they say their names. He just goes like Douglas, NC State. That's it. Love that.
Yeah, they only go by their family name. No, they have no first name.
He's one of many Douglases. So yeah, and speaking of nose tackle, we got Kenny Clark, who's fantastic. We still got him. We lost Zadarius Smith, but we brought back Preston Smith, who looks solid. And we still got Rashawn Gary, who finally is emerging as like a Pro Bowl level player. So that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So I mean, secondary set, linebackers looking good. We brought back Devondre Campbell, who played fantastic, like Pro Bowl level, as the middle linebacker. We got our defensive line outside of nose tackles, okay. So I think we might draft an edge, but probably not till later. But outside of that, like, defense is fine. So the big thing is we have no wide receivers now. Yeah. So everyone's always said they never get Aaron Rodgers help in the first round. They've drafted like 0 offensive players outside of Jordan Love in the first round.
Yeah.
But I think this is it. This is it. We have 2 first-round picks, and there's a bunch of wide receivers, and I think this is the year we draft a wide receiver in the first round.
All right, so 5:08 p.m., April 26, 2022, Coach thinks that the Packers are drafting a wide receiver. Got it.
Yep.
Mark.
Oh, man, what if they draft another quarterback? That would be fucking hilarious. That would be so funny.
That would be something.
That would indeed be something.
So I'm thinking Packers go wide receiver, one of those picks. I think they do go offensive tackle with the other first rounder. So I think those will be their first 2. Then I think second round, I'm hoping they do take Trey McBride with their first second. In fact, I wouldn't be opposed to them taking Trey McBride with the late second rounder, like straight up, because the Packers also haven't had a good receiving tight end. Like, they've had Bobby Tonyan, but, like, he's good, but he's no, like, elite level game-changing guy. So I think if you get that for Rodgers, like, that's going to be fantastic. Like, you get him a George Kittle type dude, and that's going to be that's probably better than a wide receiver, honestly. So that's what I'm hoping. And if they don't get Trey McBride, there's also, I think, Jelani Woods is another one who I've seen go in the 3rd round, who's also pretty good receiving tight end, but probably not at the same tier. But, you know, if you miss out, you can still get him. And then, probably just an edge player in the 2nd round. So really just wide receiver, tight end, edge, and offensive tackle. And I mean, after that, just kind of fill need, like maybe safety depth would be good, or like linebacker depth. Quarterback. you know,
both first round picks, quarterbacks.
There you go.
Yeah. They just take every quarterback.
Yeah, make Rodgers force a trade immediately.
So yeah, that's what I'm hoping. Honestly, Packers I still think they're gonna win the division. Like, the Bears got worse. But they're kind of, retooling, new management. The Lions, I think, will be better than the Bears. In fact, I think the Lions will compete with the Vikings. The Vikings, I think, will be good. They'll probably be trying to get a wild card, but I think the Lions are going to be there, like, legit. Mm-hmm. But the Packers, I think, are still going to take it just because, like, we didn't really change that much. People are like, you lost Adams. It's like, yeah, we have everybody else, and Rodgers still throwing the ball, and our running game was what we relied on a lot of the time. So, I mean, and the defense is good, which is the biggest thing, so we'll be fine. Rodgers has that thing where he's like, it's like Tom Brady. You take, like, Jimmy Smith and put him out there. And you're like, who's this guy? Oh, he got like 120 yards this game because it's just the good person throwing him the ball. Mm-hmm. So I think he'll be fine, and that's my draft. Plus, we got one of those like Jamar Chase dudes, right? His first year Pro Bowl. It's got to happen.
I mean, to be honest, it has kind of been more common lately for receivers coming out of college immediately contributing a lot. Mm-hmm. Whereas for a long time, and I feel like with most receivers, it's kind of similar to QBs where they need kind of 3 years in a system before you're just like, oh, okay, yeah, they're really, really good.
Yeah.
But it's not impossible.
Yeah, no, wide receivers do seem to be a lot more plug and play right away. So it's like if you're good, you're good. If you can run the routes and you're fast and you don't drop balls, it's like get them out there.
Yeah, and I guess a lot of colleges have been running air raid offenses for a long time now.
That's true too. So those are our main teams, but Rob, you have the quarterback analysis in this wonky quarterback draft.
Exactly. Yes. It is a yearly tradition around here at this podcast for me to try to analyze the QBs. As a disclaimer, I have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about in any way, shape, or form.
So just like the ESPN analysts.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I've probably got as good of a hit rate. We have looked back at some of my. That's kind of partly why I want to do this every year, is because I want to keep looking back and see how wrong or right I was.
Honestly, you're probably better than Mel Kiper at this point. Like
it's possible. I mean, he's still supposed to do some shit because of the Jimmy Clausen. He was like, Jimmy Clausen is going to the Hall of Fame. But yeah, okay. So there's I looked at 5 QBs, like the names that I've seen most commonly.
Yeah.
Other QBs could be taken in the first or second rounds because this draft is a little bit weird. I don't think that there's any QB in this draft that is like first overall pick worthy.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I think generally analysts agree, and I see where they're coming from. Like, none of these guys look so good that it's just like, okay, yeah, absolutely, he's gonna throw the ball a lot, and they're gonna get touchdowns, is gonna be good.
Yeah.
None of these guys look like that. However, I would say 2 kind of stand above the others, which is Malik Willis and Kenny Pickett. I think those 2 are the best looking QBs in this draft, at least from what I saw in college. Malik Willis, he's just like he's a little bit raw. He's a really good runner. He's very agile. They seem to run a lot of option runs and designed runs.
So it's like
for the
Lamar
QB.
Jackson light, essentially.
Yeah, kinda. But he's bigger. He's not super big, but he's like 6 feet tall and like 220 or something. So he's kind of tight end size a little bit, and he is not amazingly fast, but he's really fast in a straight line. Not like Lamar Jackson, but like maybe more like Cam Newton.
Oh, I see.
But he's very agile in the pocket. Like, I saw he did this awesome little juke move to get out of a sack, and he ran for like 20 yards on one of the plays I saw. I would say that his passing is where he kind of needs help, but that, is the kind of thing that can be worked on.
Yeah.
It's some of it's like footwork kind of stuff. I didn't see any like anticipation throws with him, so he didn't really lead any receivers. He was just throwing to where they were. Which kind of runs because I think their offense is designed that way. It's also like a kind of a first read offense, is what it looks like. Also, he would throw a lot. I mean, now granted, they it seems like he was on a team that was not as good as the teams that they were facing, right?
Yeah.
So I say take this with a grain of salt, but he would make some bad decisions where he's throwing into places where it's a 50-50 ball. Like at best, the receiver is kind of in a bad position to catch it. Like the corner is kind of in a better position to catch it, but he still throws it that way. So he's maybe a little overconfident on throws like that. But with that said, he's skilled enough to easily be a top 10 pick in any draft, and I think he will be in this draft. If I'm a team in the top 10, I would. The ones that I was looking at are like Panthers and Seattle. I could see him going to either of those teams, and I think he would be quite good. He's like I said, he's a little bit raw, so he wouldn't be like first overall pick kind of guy. But he's skilled enough where it's like, okay, yeah, it wouldn't be a lot of work to get him to a place where he's gonna do some things in the NFL, you know?
Yeah. It's I've even seen like Lions trading back a couple spots and then taking him.
That's possible. Yeah, I've seen that. I know that his draft stock has moved around a lot, at least in the media this year. But I don't know. He's for me, between him and Kenny Pickett, they're kind of like a 1-2 AB kind of situation. Like they're I think both of them are going to do pretty well in the NFL. And I think they're comparable in skill level. Although some, like Malik Willis does some things better than the other, you know?
Like he seems like Malik Willis is going to be the better athlete, which is like that kind of option run style.
Yeah, he's definitely more agile. If a team wants to use him on a lot of designed runs, he would be good at that. With that said, he's pretty big, but he's only, at the end of the day, he's only 6 feet and 220, right? Like he's going to be going up against guys who are like 250 and have a couple more inches on him. And, you know, the way that he runs in college, he's not going to be able to run that way in the NFL.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't know. As much as I do really like how there have been more the running game has become much more impactful in the quarterback position again, which is really nice. And there are some guys who really excel at that. But I do worry about like their health. Like I worry about so I hope a team that takes him doesn't do as many designed runs as he was doing in college, because it was like every 3 plays he's on a design run, you know, and it's a little too much. But yeah, no, I think he'll be very good. He's got to work on some decision making, some fundamentals and stuff, but the raw talent is there for him. So a lot of teams, yeah, like a lot. I think he could go to a lot of places. I've seen some mock drafts put him at the Steelers, which would also be
a 20.
Yeah, that would be it. I mean, if he makes it that far, first of all, that would be wild. I don't think he should. He's definitely 20th pick. But if he gets there, that would be an amazing place for him to go. That would be great.
I mean, which team has the highest quarterback grade need right now?
Well, the earliest I'd say is probably the Panthers.
Yeah, unless the Lions like really want him, but I don't think they'd take him at 2.
Yeah, I don't think the Lions want to take him at 2. Although, I mean, like I said, if you go either of those guys at 2, I mean, it probably would be too high of a pick. But with that said, if they're your franchise quarterback, who cares, right? You might as well spend the 1 on him if you got it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it could happen.
It's also tricky because, like, if you're the Lions, maybe you want to trade back, but, like, the furthest you probably trade back is, like, with the Giants, because I don't think the Texans would take... I don't know. It's a weird draft because, like, you probably think maybe the Panthers take him, so you go to 5, but even then, are the Giants going to be like, oh, yeah, we got to go up to 2 to take whoever? Like, it seems like most of the people in top 5 are kind of happy seeing who falls to them.
Yeah, I don't even think I don't think the Giants are gonna go QB. Honestly,
Yeah. No, I don't
I think they're
so.
gonna stick it out with Daniel Jones too, because
Yeah.
he's honestly pretty good. It's just that whole team has been just a nightmare.
Oh yeah.
Garbage fire.
They just need offensive linemen. They need defense. They need just
They need a lot of. That's
lot.
why I would say I don't think they're gonna go QB, but you never know.
Yeah. So what about Kenny Pickett?
So Kenny Pickett, he's kind of got gunslinger vibes. So he's got good throw power. I wrote down here he's the best in the class. I'm not sure. He's got good legs. They do some designed runs there. He's not nearly as agile as Malik Willis though. He's more of like bootlegs, and he's got some straight line speed and stuff. His ball security though, when he's scrambling, I noticed was a bit of an issue. When you see guys running around and they're clutching the ball with one hand and it's swinging around wildly while they're scrambling around instead of tucking it.
Oh yeah.
That's going to be bad in the NFL. That's going to be a fumble. Also, I wrote down, it looks like he's playing for his life. It actually is wild watching him play. Like he looks like he's just going wild on every play. But he's still actually, he's got good basic form and fundamentals. But he's got some footwork that he needs to clean up. It seems like a lot of QBs though in college don't have the kind of footwork that QBs used to have, like maybe 10 years ago. And I think that's largely to do with they don't take as many snaps under center. I mean, they never really did that much in college anyway, but it used to be more expected in the NFL. But the NFL's kind of moved to a shotgun offense anyway, so those guys don't learn the footwork as much because it's not as important. But there's like shaky dropbacks and stuff that I was seeing with him. Same with most of the QBs in this draft.
He reminds me of Baker.
Oh, he's kind of got a Baker thing a little bit. Yeah, I could see it. He's bigger, but
the way he runs looks exactly like Baker.
Yeah, I could see what you're saying. But you see what I mean, right? Like when you see him running around, he's kind of, it looks like he's running for his life, like all the time. He's pretty good. He's pretty good improvisationally too. So there's some like backyard football kind of shit that he gets into. And that's partly to do with the fact that he's got good chemistry with his receiving core, because he's actually the most experienced QB coming out in this draft. He's been in college for 3 years. So he's got good chemistry with his guys. And actually that's pretty nice to see, because it makes it seem like that's, possible in the NFL if you have good chemistry in college, right, with your wide receivers. And it seems like he trusts his dudes. I saw a lot of backyard football plays, where he's like moving the receiver by pointing to a spot kind of thing, running around and making a play happen. So, I would say he looks pretty good. But again, it's similar to Malik Willis, where it's kind of raw. It's not like he didn't look like Kyler Murray in college, or Trevor Lawrence, say, where it's just like, okay, yeah, all those things are there and they do good things. It's just he's got some things that he's got to work on, but he's definitely a top 10 QB. Like he's gonna do well in the NFL, I would say.
Yeah,
I've heard he interviewed poorly, but I don't know. Who cares?
Yeah, I mean, even then, it's like, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of dudes interview poorly and they're still great.
Who?
Because I know those were the top two, but who's after that? I think was it Matt Corral or Corral?
So I've seen
Coral.
I actually, one of the things that I find fun is when doing these is I don't look at the mock drafts so much before I look at the QBs to see if I
I see,
agree.
Mhm.
And I generally do, and this year's no different. So a lot of the different mock drafts have the other three guys that I have in a bunch of different places.
Mhm.
So who knows where they'll really go? Um, the best out of the three that I was looking at are Sam Howell, Desmond Ritter, and Matt Corral or Matt Corral. I heard them say
Yeah.
in college.
Mhm.
Squirrel.
Corral.
Coral.
They're all pretty good. I'd say probably the best one out of the three is Desmond Ritter, but he's, I don't know, kind of, to me he seems like a kind of boring player, which maybe will mean that he's a good player actually, because
Sounds like he'd be perfect for like the Colts.
Yeah, I mean,
Just
I
sit
could
behind
see
Matt
that.
Ryan.
I saw him mocked to the Titans actually, and it's yeah, okay,
That
he
fits.
does kind of, he's like that. He's kind of a little bit of a Ryan Tannehill kind of player. Um, he's got kind of the same kind of speed. He's not super mobile, but he's like Ryan Tannehill, where he's fast enough to get out of danger and pick up some yards every once in a while too.
Yeah.
And they put him on a couple of design runs, I think, that I saw. He's not super agile in the pocket, which is maybe a concern. I wrote down he holds the ball a little too low. They were running like a one read offense, but he's accurate on short and intermediate routes, and he was one of the only QBs that I saw from this draft that was throwing with anticipation. Like he was throwing receivers open.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, which I don't know how valuable of a trait that is, but I thought that was nice to see. So I'd say he's the best of the other guys. But I don't know where he's going to end up going. But I would say it's like Malik Willis and what's his face as the off and on 1-2, but Desmond Ritter's behind them.
Good old what's his face.
Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've heard. Yeah. And then I also did Sam Howell and Matt Corral. And Sam Howell seems good, but I wrote, and I mean no disrespect, okay, but I wrote he's kind of like a poor man's Malik Willis.
Yep.
He's like a big dude.
Wow.
He looks like
He's gonna do him like that, huh?
I'm just saying,
I hadn't even been drafted yet. He's the poor man's version.
I mean, who knows? Maybe he'll do better. But I would say that because he was on a lot of design runs, and he's not very agile, like at all. Like he's probably the least agile QB out of the ones that I was looking at. He runs in a straight line directly into defenders, which is gonna be kind of dangerous in the NFL. With that said, he's a big dude. Like he looks, he like I was saying with Malik Willis, he looks like a tight end, and maybe even more than Malik Willis. I don't actually know what his size is, but he looks
6'1",
big.
225.
Yeah, so he's pretty big, and he can even probably put on some weight in the NFL if he's going to run like he does. But again, I worry about QBs that use their legs a lot because I worry about their injury.
Yeah,
But he's got some footwork issues. He's got a decent arm, but I was noticing that when he's throwing deep, he kind of floats the ball, which is going to be dangerous in the NFL. Like it's good for like he was reasonably accurate on deep shots, but he floats the ball too long when he's taking them. So that's going to be kind of dangerous. And he's not super accurate downfield either. But he's good at hitting the free throws is what I wrote down, which means like when his receivers were open, he would hit them. And that's good to see. Not all QBs are like that.
Yeah.
So I think if you had a what I wrote is if he had a quick passing offense and a strong running game kind of team, that would be the perfect fit for him, I would say. Like if you have a strong running game and you can get away with throwing a lot of screens, a lot of slants and stuff, he would be good. But he looks kind of like a second rounder to me, personally.
Yeah, I think I've seen like him going in the second or third round, but I think a lot of these guys it's like second, third round.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. That would make a lot of sense. He potentially though he could be pretty good. He's definitely got a lot of inherent skills there. Matt Corral, I don't know. I wrote like lazy footwork because he really had really lazy footwork. Like he was not moving around too much in the pocket. Some plays he would do well, but other plays like his feet would not be properly set under him. And as a result, it affected his accuracy. Like he would float balls above receivers' heads or throw it into the dirt. And to me, that looked like it came down to footwork. Again, just the reminder, I have no idea what I'm talking about. He wasn't super accurate, and again, I think that's partly because of the footwork issues. He's pretty good at moving around in the pocket, but he's not. It seems like running is not necessarily a ball carrier vision kind of thing. It's not really his strength. I'd say the biggest positive with him is that he goes through his progressions really fast. Like I would see his head whip around all over the field on every play, and that's partly to do, I think, with their team being not so great. So he would be looking all over the field to where he could get the ball. So that's good. But also he also was a ball security problem where he's holding the ball outside of his body, with one hand when he's running around. Very dangerous in the NFL. A lot of fumbles. I saw that a lot with Sam Darnold.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean he looks good, but good as like a second or third rounder kind of good.
Yeah.
Honestly, probably more of a third rounder. Like he's a guy where you expect that he'll probably ride the bench for a little while and fill in as like a backup for a while, and maybe he's gonna be good down the line.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what you're hoping for at that point in the draft anyway, with quarterback at least.
Yeah,
it's like first rounders is like this dude's gonna either come in and play right away or he's gonna be a star in like a year or two.
Right,
right.
I
think when you get to that point, you're kind of being like, he's got traits, and maybe we can coach him up and get the bad traits out of him and help his other stuff. And if that works, then you're like, neat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like he's got some techniques to kind of shore up and stuff, but he might have less experience than the other QBs too. That happens a lot. So, he could be very good down the line. I could see that, but.
Yeah.
That's all my guys. I would say this is a relatively weak QB class as far as prospects go.
Yeah, it does seem that way.
Historically speaking, just because that's the consensus before the draft doesn't mean that that's what actually happens down the line. There have been some drafts I've seen where they're like, "Oh, there's going to be 10 Hall of Famers in this draft." And it's none of it works out, right? So,
yeah. Well, even last year, what's his name? To the Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence. Like everyone's like, "Oh, this dude's gonna come in and be amazing." And it was like, yeah. Now, granted, he did have to deal with Captain Jackass or whatever his name was.
It's true.
So that probably didn't help.
Urban Meyer.
Yeah, Urban Meyer. So maybe this will help getting a full off season and a real coach that doesn't kick his players and all that fun stuff. So that'd be good.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, exactly. No, like nobody really knows, because here's the thing. Like as much as I like doing these analyses, my at the root, I think any of these guys could be really good. It just depends on if they get the right situation and the right support, because everybody needs, like, especially QBs, I think they need a lot of support and help and teaching for them to be as good as they can be. So if any of these guys end up in a really good situation, I think they could be really good. They're all good players.
Yeah, and I think that's what it ends up being for just these teams as well. Like, obviously they look into it more than we do, but like there's only so much you can know and predict about a player before you're like, all right, I guess we'll take him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Newsflash: decent player going to good situation may mean they could end up being okay.
Yeah. Like, you think about, like, does Aaron Rodgers get to where he is if he doesn't sit behind Brett Favre and like, be here? Like, does Lamar Jackson get to the point where he's at if he, instead of the Ravens, he goes to, like, I don't know, the Texans or something? Like,
yeah. Does Tom Brady be Tom Brady if he's a 6th-round pick on any other team?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Does Deshaun Watson make it to the Browns? Do what he did?
Those are the questions.
Yeah, it's true.
I did find some combine results just to throw this into the equation.
Oh, okay.
These are the winners and losers of the combine.
Yeah.
So best 40 times we had were Kalon Barnes at a 4.23.
Wow.
Tariq, that is fast.
That's very fast.
Tariq Woolen at a 4.26.
Yeah, that's fast too.
Taekwon Thornton at a 4.28. So those were the three fastest, and I believe they're all corners.
Yeah, I mean, 4.2 is extremely fast. For 3 players to have 4.2 is pretty wild, actually.
I guess Taekwon Thornton's a wide receiver, so that could, the other two are corners. He's the wide receiver. So some team's gonna be like, he's fast, draft
speedy. Yeah.
The big the top 3 edge rushers all look very good. Kayvon Thibodeau had 27 bench presses, which means he is strong and fast and already proven at a college level. So I feel like that dude's just going to be good, like straight up.
Seems like it, yeah.
Strong, fast, already proven he plays well. Like I can see why he's going in the top like 3 or whatever, 4.
Yeah.
Then they had Tariq Woolen, a 42-inch vertical jump. So not only is he running a 4.26, but he has a high jump.
That is wild.
That is insane. And then I guess Christian Watson has an 11.4 broad jump. I don't know what that means. I guess that's side to side, or I don't know.
I don't remember what the broad jump is. Is that the one where it's like they got a net on the ground?
I think it is.
Okay.
In fact, let me just broad jump. Oh yeah, that's where they like start at 1 and then they kind of like use their momentum and both legs to like jump forward, like whoa.
Right. Yeah.
So,
okay.
I guess that's like if you're chasing someone down and you gotta like leap to tackle them, you can leap pretty far to tackle them. I guess that's what it's like. So neat. Then other combine winners, Malik Willis apparently had a really good combine.
That's not surprising.
Yeah, he didn't even run the 40, but he just tested his arm strength and throwing. Apparently his arm was very good. Yeah. He also tested excellent in interviews, showing off leadership skills, and they even saw a video of him helping a guy on hard times in the street. So, like, just a good dude, like, good head on his shoulders, and it seems like he's got skills. So I see why he's going as, like, the number 1 quarterback.
I think he probably would be the number 1 quarterback to whatever team goes. Like, I would say he probably has a slight edge over Pickett.
Yeah. I would, honestly, if I'm the Panthers, I would probably take him at like 6. Like, you've got Darnold and like whatever. Like, you might as well just be like, maybe this guy can turn this thing around.
And it's the kind of team for him, right? You got Christian McCaffrey there.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a run first team. You can do short intermediate routes and stuff. Get him familiarized with the offense, and then work on his passing over time.
Yeah,
it's a good place.
You would take some of the load off of McCaffrey as well, so maybe he doesn't get injured every year.
Yeah, exactly.
So never drafting him again.
Yep. Jordan Davis out of Georgia, defensive lineman, apparently had a very good defensive. What am I saying? Very good combine. He ran a 4.78 at 341 pounds.
Oh my god,
that's like insane.
That's absurd. Oh my god! If I ran the 40-yard dash today, I mean, it's probably 5-6 seconds. You're telling me that a 300+ pound man, and that most of those pounds are muscles.
Yeah.
he could run me down.
Oh yeah,
just destroy me. That's absurd.
yeah. I mean,
That's
to be fair,
horrifying.
Rob would probably like get halfway and fall over or something.
Absolutely, yeah. No, there's no question about it in my mind.
For reference, he's the only player over 340 to ever run faster than a 4.98.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, and he became the second player at 300 pounds or heavier since 2000 to clear 10 feet on the broad jump. I guess only behind Tristan Wirfs.
What's his position?
Defensive lineman.
Oh, so is he an edge rusher? I assume nose tackle.
I think he's a nose tackle, but like, yeah,
nose tackle.
If you got a nose tackle like that, like that's
it sounds
insane.
like Aaron Donald kind of thing.
Yeah, seriously.
You know?
And then Trayvon Walker, the other one, who apparently had an excellent performance running a 4.51 at 272, which is still crazy.
No, that's extremely fast.
Yeah.
Put it this way, any human to run a 40 in under 5 seconds is
yeah, it's like freak of nature.
Just to put it in perspective for those of you who never played football.
Yeah. Apparently his 3-cone shuffle was great. He showed great flexibility, athleticism with a 6.89 3-cone, which put him in the same range as Myles Garrett.
Wow.
So, pretty good. So I'd say, yeah, all three of these like edge rusher dudes seem insane.
Yeah. It's good. I hope the Jets take one.
Yeah. They said Desmond Ritter, the quarterback you were talking about, apparently had a good combine. He ran a 4.52.
Wow, that's very fast.
Yeah, actually pretty fast. And a 36-inch vertical and a 10.7 broad jump. They actually had people comparing him to Marcus Mariota, which I don't know if that's good or bad.
No, you know what? That honestly, that makes a lot of sense. Like he kind of looked like Marcus Mariota in college a little bit.
No, I see. Mariota's still in the league, but he just didn't pan out what people thought. But if he's a better Mariota, then that'd be good.
Yeah.
And then apparently Breece Hall was the last winner here, running back, Iowa State. At 217 pounds, Hall's 4.39 was the fastest time for a running back.
4.39, yeah. That is, how big is he?
He's 215 pounds. And let's see. After watching, they compared him to Jonathan Taylor.
Well, so,
pretty good comparison.
Yeah, that'd be nice, I suppose.
So it could be, they even say probably second round for him. If he might sneak into the first if people are really running back desperate and they're like, this dude seems really good, really great.
Yeah.
And then the losers. So apparently, I've heard of this one. Kenny Pickett apparently has small hands.
Oh, they're doing this to him? He's getting the small hands treatment?
His 8.5-inch hand size would be the smallest of any starting quarterback in the NFL. But, at the same time, like, people didn't draft Drew Brees because they're like, oh, this dude's tiny. So, like...
Yeah, stuff like this is why I've kind of turned around a little bit on statistical analyses of players, because humans aren't robots, and things like this, it's just like, it's almost dipping into phrenology, and it's just it's just silly. Like, there have been a lot of guys who do it just fine. You have, for him especially, you have 3 years of college tape to know what his weaknesses and strengths are. If his hand, if his tiny baby hands really made a significant impact, then you wouldn't be talking about him as one of the best QBs in the draft.
Yeah,
it's just, they did this. They do this every year with all these QBs, and it's very annoying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Kyler Murray's too short. He can't play. Have you watched the NFL?
Yeah. Like, this. Who cares? Like, if he can play, he can play. Apparently Treylon Burks, wide receiver, did not have a good combine, ran a poor 40. His athleticism not looking great, but he says, I mimic my game after Deebo Samuel. So, all right. Then DeMarvin Leal had one of the worst combines, apparently. He was a potential top 10 pick, and he's just been sliding down the board.
Oh, that sucks.
He went to A&M.
Oh yeah, it's Texas A&M.
Should have sat out the combine.
Apparently, he failed to run his combine in under 5 seconds, which is not good. So he underwhelmed.
I will say with combine stuff, it's not be all end all, because there have been guys who tested poorly and did well. Stuff, because it's you kind of got to train for the combine, right? Like it's a specific thing to do a 40-yard dash.
Well, he ran the 40 in 5 flat, so that's technically, I guess that statement is correct. He failed to run under 5. That's true, but like, come on.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there's probably plenty of players who did terrible at the combine and then went on to be very good.
I mean, how many times in the NFL at any position are you doing a 40-yard dash in a straight line? You know, it's not really a skill that translates 1-to-1 to the NFL. It's its own thing, you know.
No.
In fact, they have players that did bad at the combine. Some are Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Terrell Suggs, Navarro Bowman, Joe Hayden, Elvis Doomerville, Justin Houston, Anquan Bolden, Vontaze Burfict, Zach Miller. So like there's plenty of guys who like didn't do well at the combine that are fine, but the combine stats are fun.
So, no, they are fun.
So yeah, it's it's a little added bonus for you on all those. But I think I think that pretty much covers it. Not much else we can say except come watch us Thursday night for the NFL draft.
What time is it? It's 8 EST?
Yeah, I think it's 8 EST, NFL draft time. Let's check it up real quick. First round begins at 8 EST, yep.
All right.
8 Eastern, 7 Central, 5 California Pacific time, and I don't know where else. If you're in Europe, it's like like 1 a.m. or something. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, it depends. Europe has a bunch of different time zones.
It could be 1. Yeah. It'll be early in the morning.
Yeah. Maybe not the stream for you, I guess. Yeah.
But if you wanna,
no, it's a fun time.
Yeah.
It's part of the magic of the NFL.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be opposed to doing day 2 as well, because day 2 is just round 2, right? It's like round 2 and 3.
Yeah, it's round 2 and 3. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how we're feeling.
I mean, the Jets have
first round's the only thing that matters.
That's true. I'd be down to watch like the second round, even just to see. So, all right. Either way, that's it for us. Thanks for listening, watching. Make sure to follow, subscribe, comment, socially interact, or whatever shit it is. And we'll see you Thursday. Bye-bye.